Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and we are here again with another Real 50 Over 50 interview. And today, I am going to be introducing you to Lana McAra, who is an award-winning international best-selling author. She's a ghostwriter of 44 titles, and she has published with the traditional publishing with 1 million books sold under the name of Rosey Dow. She's won the National Christy Award for Reaping the Whirlwind, and her historical mystery series, Colorado, sold more than 250,000 copies worldwide. She's been teaching how to write fiction for 20 years and is the host of the Fiction Writers Podcast. And she's got a new project that she's working on called Divine Downloads, which we'll talk about that too. So, welcome, Lana. Let's.
Thank you so much, Donna. Wonderful to
And
be
have.
here. And as we're talking, I just realized that when people ask me how to say my name, I say Lana rhymes with Donna.
I'm going to remember that all the
We're
time now.
already in sync. Yeah,
We could do the banana song, right?
exactly.
So let's dive right in and figure out what happened to you when you turned 50. I know you had a pretty big life change not long after that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. At the age of 50, I attended an event in Columbus, Ohio that was called How to Sell Big Ticket Items or Big Ticket Products. So what they were doing was teaching you how to put together a weekend and charge $5,000. And
Mm,
while I was there, I sat. It was a big conference table. Everyone was around the conference table. I think there were 12 or 15 people there. And this lady sitting next to me for the whole weekend, she was just quiet, sweet, very sweet little woman. And we got to know each other. Well, at the time, I was a pastor's wife, and I had been married. I think at that point, I'd been married for 28 years, and I was scared of everything, literally scared of everything, especially energy work or anything like that. And so she said to me, "Would you mind? Would you do me a favor?" And I took a course on EFT tapping, and I need to put in some hours to get my certification. Would you mind if I practice with you? I said, "Well, what is it? What is that?" She said, "Oh,
mhm.
you just tap on your head and on your face and on your chest and say the things, that I tell you to say." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't sound scary." Well, because I was doing it to help her out,
Mhm.
I agreed because I wanted to help her out. And so we began to do EFT tapping. Now, that seems so simple. And I was doing it on Skype because I was afraid my husband would come in and catch me doing this
Mhm.
because I just knew he wasn't going to like it.
Yeah.
And so I told her we have to do the texting part of Skype and not talk out loud because if he walks in the room, I'm just typing and he won't really know what's going on here. I had my computer desk set up in my bedroom. So I just went in and shut the door, but I'm typing with her. And within 5 minutes I'm bawling
Mm,
because she was uncovering things that were deeply rooted in my life and I was tapping through them, and the shifts were amazing. I was so locked down from so many years of abuse and intense control by my husband, who is a classic narcissist who wants to control everything. And so I was afraid of him. I mean, it wasn't like he never hit me or anything like that, but boy, he would stare into my eyes and browbeat me and make me feel this high. I didn't
sometimes
want to
that's
go through
worse.
that. And
Sometimes that's worse.
yes, I know a lot of women, go through that. And that was the beginning
Mhm.
of me opening to my own beingness, to the sovereignty that's inside of me, and to my inner knowing. because I had been conditioned and trained both through the church, through him, and through my mother, who was a very dominant woman as well, that I didn't know anything, that
Mhm.
I had to listen to what everybody else said and just do what they said, right? Well, anybody that knows me now knows that is absolutely not me anymore. But you would not have even recognized me, back in those days.
And there's no putting
So,
that back inside.
no, Pandora's box opened and it was over. Um, so I worked with her for a total of 2 years because I worked with her after I left him.
Mhm,
But, it was, over a year later that, things were going really, really bad, bad to worse, until it was not tolerable for me to even stay there. For my own mental health, I was sinking and I didn't know how to get my head above water again.
mhm.
And so I got a phone call from a friend that I hadn't talked to for 20 years, and she gave me some tough love. When I told her just a sentence or two about what was going on, she said, "Hey, you're getting ready to have a breakdown. I can hear it in your voice. Get out
Mhm.
of there. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Whoa, I just sat down. I sat down and I went, whoa, because this person was a very devout Christian. She was in the church and she's telling me to leave my pastor husband. He was a
Mhm.
pastor. He wasn't just a preacher that preached around here and there. He was the pastor of the church. And she told me, I mean, like, really strong, you get out of there. You're ready for, you're going to crash. And I knew she was right. And so I sat there and I evaluated my children. I still had 4 children at home, but the youngest one just turned 18. I didn't have any small children. That 5 years before that, I had thought about leaving, but I had 5 children that were minors at home, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't leave then. And so it was like, "Whoa, he just turned 18. I'm, that there's not even any underage kids in the house anymore. Wow." He was working and, off. He was off and going doing his life. And so 3 days later, 3 days later, I packed my car, which was in my name, and with everything I could get in, I took my computer system, I took as many clothes as I could get in there. I didn't take any household goods at all. And I left. I drove out at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was October 17th, 2009. We're coming up on 15 years in
Mhm.
October. And I left him. I left him because we had children in the house and I could not I didn't have a job for 30 years. 30 years of no W-2, no
Mhm.
resume, no work history. I was writing books, but that's not a vocation where you get a paycheck every
No.
week. Um, and I took off with $200 I had $200 in cash, my car, and no job history. And I went to my sister. Now, yes, I did tell him I was leaving, but I did not tell him I was leaving him. I told him I'm going to my sister. I'm not doing well. I'm not coping well. I put it all on me. I'm not making it. This is overwhelming me. I need to go get my head on straight. My sister's a therapist. I said she'll find me somebody to see so I can talk through some of this, how I'm feeling. And I drove away. I knew I wasn't coming back, but nobody else in the family knew that I wasn't coming back. My sister knew. My mother knew. They were going to faint in the floor to think I would ever leave him. But my sister had said most women wouldn't put up with that. Of course, she's a therapist. She's going to be diplomatic. And she's
Mhm.
saying most women wouldn't put up with that. When I was on the phone with her, most women wouldn't put up with that, and that was her litany to me.
Mhm.
Um,
But
but
she
she
gave you a
never
place
thought I
to
would
go.
do it. So what did I do? I was with my sister for 2 weeks. She got me in to see a therapist. I only saw her 2 or 3 times because she was my sister was a Christian, I was a Christian, so she got me in to see a Christian therapist. My Christian therapist basically told me, "You need to go back
Mhm,
and go into marriage counseling."
mhm,
And I had a panic attack in the parking lot of the, the church, the office where she had her church, the church where she had her office. And I had a panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I was, just crying, sobbing. Just the thought of going back and sitting in the office with him so he could browbeat me some more and wear me down so I could not have the strength to leave him anymore because my children were there. And it was tearing my heart out to leave them, even though they were young adults. They're my
mhm.
kids. And
Yeah.
I wasn't going to give him the opportunity to do that to me. So, no, I wasn't. Well, about 3 months later, I did. I did go back. I wanted to pick up my dog and I wanted to get a few things that I'd left there that I needed. And so I did go back. I was in South Carolina. I drove back to Delaware to where my family was, my family home. And I walked in there and got what I wanted. And I agreed to go with him to marriage counseling
Mhm,
that time. And so we got in there, and what he had done was he set it up with a pastor in the next town. So the two of them got me in the office. My ex
mm,
sat there the whole time glaring at me, and I'm supposed to give an honest account of what I was. He asked me some specific questions. I tried to answer honestly, and the reaction I was getting from my ex, I just shut down. I'm like,
mm.
okay, I'll sit here and listen to you until you're done, and then I'm out of here. Because
Yeah.
there's no point
No.
in me talking to that. So the reason I'm telling that story is when we got on the sidewalk, he I said to him, "Why didn't you help me? I was telling you the whole time that I needed help, I needed your support, and you never backed me up." And he went like this. Well, up until that point, I had thought we would just be separated. I didn't believe in divorce, and I never wanted a divorce. But when he did that to me, like, "Oh well, whatever."
Yeah. You were exactly
I
where he wanted you to be.
Yes, he just wanted me to be a robot
Mhm.
and clean the house and cook the meals.
Yeah, that was success
Um,
for him.
I've been doing it for 30 years, keeping
Mm,
him comfortable, whatever he wanted, that's what he got. And when I got in the car, I can remember so clearly putting the key in the ignition. That was back in the old days. And as I turned on the car, I said, "Buddy, you just got a divorce." And so then I went and filed for divorce. But it was a road. It was a long road. I spent 5 years trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. And in 2012, I met someone who had an agency connecting ghostwriters with clients.
mhm,
And that was a God moment. We met in the lobby of a hotel at a conference, exchanged cards, and I mean, it was just in passing. I never sat next to her, had a meal with her, or anything. But at that point, I started doing some editing for her. I did a book. I ghost wrote a book for her, not for her personally, but for a client. And in 2015, I went full time ghostwriting. And I've been supporting myself as a full time ghostwriter ever since. Now, I write fiction. That was my primary thing that I did back in those days when I was writing under my own name. But now I
mhm,
write books on leadership, health and wellness, spirituality, personal development, um, all those. I've ghostwritten 17 books and counting up to
mhm.
this point since 2015 when I went full time. So 9 years, 17 books. And I'm loving my life. I'm living at a good, comfortable standard of living. I love what I do. It's feels like it's work, but it feels effortless flow for me to just dive into that. I enjoy the process. I like my clients. I screen people. I don't just take anyone.
Mhm.
And I'm, just living my life. I'm enjoying my life.
That's
Who would have
amazing.
ever thought I would be able to do that? Just, such a short time, 6 years, I guess, after I left him. Yeah.
Well, once you see your own value and you see that you're not in the right place, you can't unsee it.
That's true.
You just can't unsee it. So, some people go back and it's worse. But then there are those that do what you did. I did the same thing too.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I think at a certain point in our maturity, we begin to realize that we do know something and we do have capabilities that as a younger person, we probably don't see.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I when I had my experience, I was older. Um, and I was already, I had success with work and everything. And I just, you know, I met somebody, I got pregnant very quickly and
Mm,
then learned who he was after the fact.
yes. Yes. And that I didn't get pregnant, but I met him in Bible college where there was a lot of rules.
Mm,
And I never saw him besides a brief visit here and there. I never really knew him outside of school.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
once we got into a home together,
yeah.
real him showed up.
Well, they can hold it together for short periods of time, and that's what happened with my experience as well. Because I was working, I had worked a lot of hours, I was working in a law firm, and we really just saw each other on the weekends over a summer, and he was fine, and then we went away for a weekend in the fall, and on the way back, I'm thinking, "This is not gonna last very long." 'Cause, I started to see him start to crumble on the edges, and I had gotten pregnant that weekend.
Wow. How long were you married?
I didn't get married, thank
Oh, you
God.
never married him.
Thank God I didn't get married.
Close
We
escape. Yes. Good for you
No.
not to
And
do
he
it.
I was older, I was 37 when I met him. You know,
Okay.
so I was a full-blown adult,
Yes.
and, I had everything. I was in a really good place, and
Mhm.
I did raise that child alone. And it would have been a whole lot easier without the poison arrows being thrown at me all day long, but,
Yes.
eventually he passed away. He had, brain cancer.
Ooh,
He
yeah.
died when my son was 9, but, it was a blessing.
Yes, yes, and I totally understand that. Yeah. My children turned away from me. I have 7 children, and all of them except my daughter. One of them did not turn away, but the 6 boys did.
Mhm,
That was an unexpected result of leaving. I had always been so involved with my children. I homeschooled them for 25 years. They were my team,
mm,
and we worked together, and then they began to grow up and leave home, get married. Um, but we had such a close relationship that I never thought it never occurred to me. It was language
yeah,
to try to tell me they would all turn away from me. But that's what happened because they gravitated to their dominant father. What he said and his victimhood, that was truth.
mhm,
When he said, I lost my mind, that was truth. And all the other blaming things that have gone on. Um, so, yeah, that was a real heartbreak for me. We're back in touch again, and we have a group texting. COVID did a lot for us to heal
mm,
the family because we were getting on Zoom calls, all the children and he and I together, and
mhm,
it healed us to a degree. It'll never be like it was. For one thing, I'm not the same person. I don't take BS anymore.
No,
I
no, you
just don't. I mean, I can't. It's like you said, once you open and this mouth came open, and all of a sudden now I say things.
mhm.
And then I go,
Who said that?
I can't believe I said
But imagine, like, the impact of holding all of that in for 30 years,
yes.
because as you were growing as a person, even if you didn't feel like you were growing, you were still it's 30 years, things happen.
Oh, yeah.
And, you couldn't let any of that come out.
Exactly. There was so much pent up, and I went into therapy for 2 years. I did meet a therapist, and
Mm,
it was a man, and it was so good for me to work with a man because I'd never had a man listen to me my
yeah,
entire life, and he was a spiritual person. He really helped me to break through some of the fear I had, of the spiritual world, and, it was amazing. So for 2 years, yes, I unloaded that, but then kept on growing. After that, it's been 15 years now,
mhm,
and this person is completely different
yeah,
from who I was before. I learned to trust my intuition, tap into spirit guidance, divine guidance, and be myself, be myself, which was huge. I never was myself.
yeah,
Before the age of 52, I wouldn't have even known what that was.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's amazing, and, you're my 71st interview in this series, and, um it's just one story after another of, like, a different version of of this, and we're ready. We're just getting started.
Yes, that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
Just getting started. Yeah. What do you mean 60 is getting ready for retirement? Hey, I'm on a roll now.
Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago, it was like at a doctor's visit or something like that. They were like, "Well, you must be getting ready to retire," and I just started laughing. I was like, "Why? What does that even mean?"
Yes, yes. Before 50, I was riddled with pain. I had pain in my shoulder was locked, and I had back pain. I had so many things. My thyroid was shutting down. I was on thyroid medication. There was just so much with my body.
Yeah,
And
well,
now,
that was holding in
totally
30 years
healthy.
of growth.
Yeah. Yeah, no pain. Absolutely pain-free. I'm not on any medication. I feel good. I have energy. My brain is clear. Why would I ever slow down?
So, okay, so what are you doing? Let's talk about what's coming up.
Oh, wow. There's lots of stuff. If you're on my social media, you see a lot of stuff coming down the pike. But what I'm excited about today is the Divine Downloads Project, which is an anthology of stories of people who had a flash of insight that changed their life. So it might have been starting a new business. It might have been an insight into something they were going through. I had one of those downloads about my eating addiction. I found out I have an eating addiction. I'm addicted to carbohydrates and sugar. So I went zero carb, zero sugar a year and a half ago. My life completely transformed. I feel better than I've ever felt for many, many years. And I lost 50 pounds effortlessly. And so, yes, that was what I experienced was an image of birds in a nest with the baby birds have their mouths open and they're begging, begging more, more, more. And I realized that's the way I was with
Mhm,
sugar and carbohydrates. But then
mhm,
right
and
behind that came this other realization. I was like that in a lot of things in my life: friends, my children, money, so many things. And it was a pervasive feeling of lack in every area of my life. That was a download. That was an aha moment, but I was alone. It wasn't from a class or reading a book. So I'm recording stories like that. And I'm excited because there's been so much interest and excitement about getting in on it. And it's not only the book, because I'm ghostwriting it. You don't have to write, just tell me the story and I'll write it for you. But it's also a summit, and the summit is going to launch the book. So we're on a trajectory, and we have a publisher, a real publisher. Because I'm a published author, I have connections. I
Mhm.
can do that. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing with 20 plus people promoting the summit and the book and going into the marketplace with that kind of momentum. It's going to help a lot of people. And then the book is going to help a lot of people with the wisdom that's in it. So that's my obsession at this point. Whenever anybody asks me anything, I'm like, divine downloads. We're collecting stories. I want to normalize the fact that we get messages from the unseen world. We don't need to depend on experts and others to tell us what to do. It's inside of us. Let's just listen and receive those messages, and we will be guided, safe, and successful in whatever we do.
Yeah. Yeah, my life changed when I started listening to what I had to say to myself.
Yes.
It really did. Um, I used to fear that voice. I don't fear it anymore.
Yes. I would get intuitions and feelings of things that were going to happen, or I'd say to my ex, watch that guy. He's not to be trusted. And he's like,
Mhm,
wow, that guy's got so much credibility and people love him. And next thing you know, guess what? So, but I was always told I didn't know what I was talking about. And
mhm.
so I didn't say it very much anymore. I wouldn't know it was there, and I wouldn't really trust it 100%, but then it would happen. I'd be like, I do know a few things.
Yeah, and Leah's weighing in saying, "As long as it's of the light." Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Very
indeed.
true.
Hmm.
There, but I think we're all on the same page with that.
Yes, absolutely. When you are getting a true divine download, you get a positive, loving feeling with it.
Mhm.
When you're getting something from darkness, you get a negative withdrawal kind of feeling. And
Yeah.
yes, it is
Yeah,
soft and gentle. Yes, it's very quiet. So you have to get quiet and listen to receive them.
exactly. Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's amazing, we all I mean, even in my work, like, I do marketing, but, um, I one of the first things I talk about with clients is, finding out what they want and, listening to what they want, because they're always seeking the answers from somebody else, but nobody else has your answers.
No, no. Someone asked me about what the definition of sovereignty is because I said we have personal sovereignty, and they said, "What is sovereignty?" And it just came to me because I wasn't really sure what to say, but it came to me. It's being self-contained, self-contained. So you have your knowingness inside of you, and you realize that you do.
Mhm,
And so when things you're at a crossroads, or like with the Divine Downloads project, I didn't act on it. I waited for 2 or 3 weeks before I did anything, and I'm a fast mover. I'm
mhm,
off to the races. But I waited because I wanted confirmation that this was really a good thing. It was divinely guided. And I got that because I got quiet in my meditation, and so that's self-contained. I didn't call a card reader to
mhm,
read for me or some other energy worker. I didn't consult. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't consult with a business coach. That's good at times, but there's a knowingness in us that
mhm,
knows this is coming from the unseen world in a good place, and it's something that is for us.
mhm.
So that self-contained feeling is huge. It gives so much confidence, quietness, and Also, knowing that I'm not making it up. This is
Yeah,
real.
yeah. And the trust, when you can trust yourself to make your own decisions and feel good about them, and are they all gonna be right? Who knows? But that's not where you focus.
Yes, you're either gonna be right or you're gonna learn.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
downside.
yeah, there is no downside, 100%. Well, I cannot believe we have already gone 30 minutes already. We could probably sit and talk for an hour.
Yes.
But everybody, please connect with Lana on her website, and there'll be more information there um, about the the project that she's working on, the Divine Downloads. And Lana, can you leave us with a wisdom bomb, something you want everybody to know? You've already left us with about 100, but
Yes. Um, one thing that what's coming to my mind, because I always ask Spirit to give me something, is if it's not a 100% yes, then it's a no. All the second guessing, all the checking and double checking and asking friends, if you get quiet and you still don't get a 100% yes, then just let it go. It's okay. I
Mhm,
used to be so protective of my ideas and so worried about writing them down. There is so much wisdom out there. It's coming in a stream of consciousness constantly. So don't feel like there's a lack of ideas and inspiration. There's plenty of it out there. Just go with 100% yes, and then you know you're on the right track.
that's great advice. Thank you. And thank you for spending some time here today. And everybody, please connect with Lana and go learn more about all of the things that she's doing and connect with her on social and also through the Real 50 Over 50 webpage. And we will be back next week with another interview, number 72. It's going